Hey, you guys, Tricia Turner here. It's Tuesday. It's time for anything but average, achieving success in life. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Lavar Harden. And the purpose of all of our podcasts, or mine anyhow, that we do on Tuesdays at 12 is to share success stories, because life in real estate or in any industry, basically, if you're the business owner, it's freaking hard as crap. And we have constantly got to be innovating ourselves and coming up with different ways. And there's always people coming at us. And so Lavar, I thought, would be a really good person to share his story today, because he pretty much pivoted in the midst of a good career and changed and did something totally different and is thriving. And so Lavar, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. I truly do.
I love this. Hey, Lavar, so that everybody kind of knows a little bit about you, tell everybody where you are, of course, what you're doing now, and then where you began. Like, what was your first kind of career move?
Got it. Okay. So I am originally from Chicago. I have been here in Houston since 2014, and I got my license in 2016 and started full time in 2017 here in the Houston market. Yeah.
So prior to getting your real estate license, what had you done as far as like career moves?
So I relocated to Houston because I took a position with DHL Express as a manager of international sales. So I've
Okay.
always had sales experience. But yeah, I moved here in 2014 and I just didn't feel fulfilled, working in an international business. I'm at the leisure of the hours, basically,
Yeah.
right? So considering I managed clients out of literally every country, I'd have calls at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And I just gotten married at the time, and my wife and I were entertaining, having kids. So I just figured, the money's great, but this is not something that I could do long term.
I
Yeah.
get it. So
Yeah.
what was the driving thing that you maybe thought, you know what, I'm going to get my real estate license? What made you think that?
So I got licensed initially in 2006, right after college, and sold condos, primarily condos in Chicago in the downtown market. And one of the things that happened was the 2008 bubble, and the condo market felt it. So we had a lot of investors coming from all over the country and all over the world, and they were just complete speculative investors, right? They were solely banking on appreciation. And when the collapse happened, they felt it. They lost 40, 50, 60% of their equity overnight,
Wow.
essentially. Yeah. So, that was a lesson, and it taught me to don't solely bank on appreciation, but cash flow. Right. So I started flipping real estate back in 2009, back home in Chicago, and did that for a while and truly enjoyed it and loved it. And my business really transitioned to, I was no longer really selling real estate as an agent. I was primarily flipping real estate. And there was a passion there. And just thinking back to when I moved here in 2014, this wasn't my first logistics job. It was maybe my second or third logistics job here. And I said, logistics is great. It provides food. However, there's no passion behind it. So what have I been passionate about? And it went back to that. What have I been passionate about post-college? And it's always been real estate. Real estate has always been the answer. Whether it is leading a first-time home buyer to the finish line, or even preparing someone that has never purchased an investment property, and helping them understand the importance of cash on cash return and just different formulas when it comes to investing. And I said, this is what I'm passionate about. Let me go ahead and get my real estate license. Things are going extremely well here in the Houston market in real estate. And I learned that 1,000 people were moving to Texas per day over the past decade. And I'm one of those people. And I said, you know what? It's a great opportunity to really pour into this real estate thing here in Houston.
So then when you did that, did you go straight into residential sales, like resale? What were you doing there? Walk me through.
I did residential resale for 3 years with Keller Williams, and I was, I continued to get awards and whatnot. However, majority of my business was new construction. So because I was not from the Houston area, I went out to see 10, 15, 20 communities per week. And in doing that, considering I was not just showing up to look at the communities, I kept my my viewers engaged. So I always posted on Instagram and social media and Facebook and what have you. And people started to inquire, like, well, tell me about this process for purchasing a home or a new home. And that truly became my niche. Right. And it was almost by default, just because it was something that I was doing on a day-to-day basis that just became my niche. And in that happening, in 2019, my wife was pregnant, and I said, I think I want to try this new home sales thing, because I hear they make a lot of money and they just sit in the office for 8, 9, or 10 hours. I think I'd love that. Right. That was my thought process. And I did it for 6 months. I actually worked with one of the premier builders here in Texas. And when I interviewed, and this should have been a red flag, and there's no qualm, no issues with the builder. They're a phenomenal builder. But I should have took this as a red flag. So in the interview process, they asked if I had any side jobs or any side businesses that I ran. And I was like, yeah, I flipped proudly. I flipped real estate. I'm an investor. And they were like, oh, no, I don't know that would be a good fit. We try to stay away from working with people that are, real estate investors and flippers and rehabbers. And I said, well, I've been doing this for 9 years. It doesn't make sense for me to stop now. And she said, well, can you put the LLC in someone else's name? Or I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Right? Sure.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, so I wasn't actively flipping, and literally daily, I'm saying all these deals just come past my email. I'm like, oh my God, like I could have bought that. I could have flipped this. I could have rented this one out. And, it just got to a point where I said, you know what? Let me get back to the investing side, because although I make great money as a sales professional with a builder, I'm sitting in the office for 8, 9, or 10 hours. And get this, I lived in the community that I sold homes. The model home was behind my house.
That's crazy.
So, I said, this is a great opportunity. However, there's more for me on this earth. I just know that there's so much more for me. And the other thing is, when I think about branding, right? So the builder is branding their name, but who's branding Harden Real Estate Group? And at the end of the day, that's why I got into real estate, to build something. And when my daughter was born in September of 2019, that was a game changer for me. That just changed everything. And I gave myself a couple months, and I said, I'll hammer out a couple more sales. And then in February of 2020, that's when I joined Realty. And I've been here for a year now, and I truly love it. And there's no looking back.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. So for you guys that are paying attention, number one, we have a lot of real estate agents that watch the show. If you paid attention to what he said in the very beginning, he did not have a sphere of influence when he moved here. He did not have family and friends. He did not have referrals. He had none of that stuff. He had to make it happen. And so what did he choose to do? He chose to go out and visit new home communities. You heard him, 10 to 15 per week. He's hustling. He's making something happen. And he was very successful. Moved out of Keller Williams brokerage and did new home sales, because a lot of people do have this misconception that new home sales counselors basically sit in there all day. They make a crap ton of money and they have an easy life. And maybe some of them do. However, they work a lot of hours. They basically are owned by that builder. They are on call and they are in that office every day. And so for Lavar and most business owners, we're always building, we're always thinking, we're creating. And like he said multiple times now, what was he passionate about? And so Lavar, in just this very short time, he's with us at EXP, like he just told you guys. For one, I want to ask, what made sense, or what made the most sense with EXP? And kind of in this short amount of time, what have you been able to accomplish?
So I've figured out just diving in deeper into the things that I'm interested in and the things that I offer to my clients.
Yep.
So one of which is I just naturally get to know investors, right? Whether it's a builder, a developer, someone that's a novice that's looking to start their real estate portfolio, or someone that has a huge portfolio. I just naturally meet these people, right? As soon as I tell them I'm a real estate agent, they're, oh, I'm super interested in investing in real estate. Do you help with investments? So I needed to figure out a way to kind of differentiate myself as an agent. And in doing that, I said, hey, EXP has allowed me a platform in which I could build my own team, and I can convey my traditional retail buyers to those buyer specialists that I bring on, where I can focus on spending more of my time with investors and helping people get rich.
Yes, and that's very rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're, and you and I have talked about this with flipping, it's people think again that that's an easy thing, and it's not. And you have all the years of experience, and that brings so much knowledge to people. It protects their investment, which is cash, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you got involved with EXP, it was just you as a solo agent. How much have you grown since your first time getting involved?
So I've brought on 4 buyer specialists, as well as a administrative assistant, and I have an inside sales guy as well, making phone calls.
Yep.
8 hours a day. So.
And here you did this all, like you said, your wife became pregnant. Y'all have a new baby. And you just took a leap. You took a leap of faith. You went out and you're like, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. Do you have any regrets at all so far?
Stop it. Absolutely not. No, not at all. Not at all. Any move that I make, I definitely consult my wife, and we talk about it as a team. And from there, I have to wait on God, right? When he tells me to move, I move. When he tells me to just relax and sit, I sit. So that's just kind of how I have always operated. My plan was actually to start bringing on agents in Q1 of this year. However, it manifested in which, I started bringing on people in Q3 and Q4 of last year.
Came really quicker than you thought.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when you look at kind of your experience and what EXP has allowed you to do, and for you guys that aren't with EXP and don't know, of course, we can opt in. It's not mandatory, but we can opt in to have them withhold 5% of our commission and buy the stock at a 10% discount. I'm imagining, Lavar, that you're doing that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that'd be crazy if you weren't, right?
Right.
So has that allowed you any benefits when it comes to flipping and so forth?
Well, I kind of just leave that money there, set it and forget it type of deal.
Gotcha.
I might look at the shares once a quarter. I don't want to be tempted to touch any of that money and take the penalty and the tax penalty. So I just leave it there, leave it where it is, and let it grow.
So for you as a business owner, you're hustling, you're doing your house flipping, you're growing your team, and you've got this retirement account that's steadily building. And like you just said, I don't want to touch it. I'm just leaving that thing there. It's just going to grow. Isn't that a great feeling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In addition to that, so here in the Houston market, as you know, I mean, pretty much everywhere is extremely busy when it comes to real estate, right? And extremely competitive. Well, the investing market is just bananas right now.
I bet.
As far as competition goes, right? It is extremely difficult to find good deals. And one of the reasons is because we've had so many guys that have poured millions and millions of dollars into commercial projects and commercial real estate. Well, when COVID hit, a lot of these people did a mass exodus out of commercial and ran to residential. So because they had to utilize a 1031 exchange, and they're up against a time clock on acquiring a new asset, that makes it even more competitive. And, they are overpaying for properties right now. So for me, I said, hey, I'm not that big of a guy. I can't, overpay for properties. So what can I do? I sold my last flip on December 31st, and usually I'll close on the next one within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Well, that just hasn't happened. I haven't really found any solid deals where the numbers make sense to me. So now I am looking at Airbnb, which has been an alternative. So just give you an idea, I'm actually sitting in my Airbnb unit right now.
Very cool. Where's
Yeah,
it at?
it is in East Downtown. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So,
do you have this one listed on the Airbnb
uh,
thing?
yep, yep, yep,
Walk us
yep.
through that.
So, essentially, there are several different ways to utilize Airbnb as an investor, right? So, one of which is you would acquire an asset and you are to furnish it and you put it on Airbnb, or other corporate travel management sites where there's listings, or short-term rental sites with listings. The other would be, it's known as rental arbitrage. So you're essentially leasing an Airbnb or a home or an apartment, and from there you do it under your business, your entity, and you are essentially doing corporate travel management or
Gotcha.
corporate short-term rentals. So that's what I'm doing here. I actually leased it from the builder. This is, no one has ever lived in this home. This was just completed
Very
in
cool.
2021. Yep. So it was just completed in 2021. He had it listed for a couple months and couldn't get any traction as far as the price. And I'm looking at my numbers for the monthly rental rate that he's charging me in relation to what the area is doing for Airbnb. And I'm like, yeah, I can make a decent profit off of this. So that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
So would you say, speaking as an investor, because we do have a lot of investors that tune in too, when you
Mhm.
say there's a lot of people out there, there's like basically a lot of sharks out there trying to pick up properties right now because there's such a low inventory. And like you said, people are in a time crunch. For the average investor, or maybe somebody just getting into it, what would be some words of wisdom? Should they wait for a later market, maybe next year? Should they
Mhm.
go big? What's your thoughts?
So my thought process is to just hold on to the capital that you currently have. Yes, financing is essentially free right now. However, it just doesn't make sense to overpay, because what happens is if you were to overpay for a property and you flip it in 3 months and now the market has completely changed or shifted, now you're stuck with that and you overpaid for it. And you probably won't cash flow if you were to put a renter in it. So my thought process is to just be prudent with your money and just wait. Um, in addition, there are a lot of distressed people out there when it comes to foreclosures. However, we're continuing to get this moratorium. It was the end of December, and then it was March, and now it's June, the end of June. There's a moratorium on foreclosures.
We just froze up. He'll come back.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm
Okay,
here. There you are.
okay. I was saying at some point, these people will have to pay the piper. Now, a lot of people are also taking advantage of the fact that there's a moratorium. So you have homeowners that are just stuffing their own pockets instead of paying their lenders or their mortgage servicers, and in hopes that they can tack that money onto the back end of their loan. So, who knows how this is going to play out. But for now, my thought is to, if you see a great deal, hop on it. If you see a good deal, be leery. And if it's just a deal, I would, probably pass on it personally.
So a lot of people are talking about potential foreclosures and what could happen later on this year. You just mentioned that. And as an investor and a real estate expert, what's your thoughts on that? Do you see us having more foreclosures coming? What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I actually subscribe for a pre-foreclosure list. And I mean, every day there's a couple hundred or, couple dozen that's being added. So it's coming. But like I said, we don't know if these are people that are truly in dire straits, or are these people that are just lining their pockets until the lender says, okay, you owe us 12 months of mortgage payments, and then they sell the home, and then they keep that, that money that they've, just tucked away for the past 12 months. So it's a combination of all of those things. So we don't know how this is going to play out. However, my thought process is that a majority of them are probably people that are waiting to get jobs, find employment, things of that nature. But the employment outlook has been good over the past couple months.
So for you, when you're looking at properties to do Airbnb or to flip or to buy and hold, what's one of your top 3 things that you look at?
So with Airbnb, you want to make sure that, Houston is an anomaly at large. I haven't been many places where you can have a home that will sell for $1 million next to a home that will appraise for $150,000, right? You just don't see that very often. Now with Airbnb, a lot of people are coming from other markets, so they're not used to seeing that. So what I look for is properties that are kind of tucked in with other newer homes, or other homes that have recently been updated, or other homes that don't look like they've been trashed, also the proximity to everything. So here in the East End, East Downtown area, it's only 10 minutes from, downtown, 15 minutes from the medical center, 15 minutes from the zoo, 10 minutes to Toyota Center, 10 minutes to the ballpark. So it's convenient. Location convenience is everything for tourists.
So for you, are you planning on building more of an Airbnb portfolio?
Yeah. I mean, like literally, I just went live. Today is Tuesday. I just went live on Friday, and I have 5 bookings. My bookings start tomorrow all the way through the end of the month. I have a couple from April and May already as well. So
are you doing daily bookings? Are you doing minimum stays? Or what's your strategy there?
So minimum stay of 3 nights.
Yep.
At least.
And then do you have a company helping you with this, or are you going to do it all Harden Real Estate Group?
I'm self-managing.
Okay.
Self-managing under my LLC. Yeah.
I love that. Hey, tell me, what are your goals for Harden Real Estate Group for the next year or 2? What's your long range outlook?
So it's funny that you asked that. So I am a huge fan of some of Gary Keller's writing, right? So some of his books, and the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, is a great book. Yep. And one of the things that I do on a daily basis is my affirmations. And one of my affirmations is essentially directly from from Gary. So think $1 million, earn $1 million, receive $1 million, give $1 million. I mean, that's just really what I'm zoned in and focused in on right now, is hitting that status. And it comes in increments, right? So the first would be essentially to truly think $1 million. You have to have that mindset. So my mind is made up. It's there. When my daughter came into the picture, enough is never enough, because she deserves the world, right? So once I think $1 million and I hit that target of earning $1 million, and then receiving $1 million is completely different from earning $1 million. So I highly encourage people to check out the book MREA, and then give $1 million. It's impossible to give $1 million if you're not a millionaire. Right. It just can't happen that way. So for me, that's just really what I'm truly honed in and focused on.
I love that. And what a great role model it is for your daughter, because like you being a self-made man, an entrepreneur, you're successful and you're building this legacy for your daughter. And for her to be able to grow up in that kind of environment, I believe is game changer for her. And what a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
What's the future of Harden Real Estate Group? How big do you want your team to be?
Probably no bigger than 25 or 30 agents. Nothing, massive. But that's probably down the line. I have no rhyme or reason to just go at it and grow my team that large right now. I want to really focus on the investors and bringing them and helping them actually launch and grow their portfolios. So that's where my focus is personally.
I love that. Hey, Lavar, tell everybody where they can find you to learn a little bit more about investing or Airbnbs or just get to know you better.
Okay. So I am on Instagram at Lavar Harden _realtor. YouTube, just search Lavar Harden. I have a bunch of videos and you'll see the Harden Real Estate Group there. And the best way to reach me would be by email, and that's lavar@hardenreg.com and Lavar Harden, lavar@hardenreg.com, and hardenreg.com is also my website. So.
And of course, you can find him on Facebook, and I'll be promoting him all over the place. And Lavar and I are business partners. We're in EXP together to help grow each other and grow the company. And so if you can't find Lavar, I'll be happy to tell you how to find him.
I'm very easy to find. I'm easy to find.
He is, and he's super cool, and he has a great passion for investing and real estate and growing a team. And I'm super happy to be in business with you, Lavar.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. And the feeling is definitely mutual.
Thank you for doing this with me today, Lavar.
Of course. Of course.
You guys have a great day.
All right. Take care.
Bye.